plans, but the benchmark, so the one that they're saying, here's your subsidy, we're assuming you're going to take a silver plan, would be that 70% actuarial value. It gets confusing, right? If you then choose, you can choose different plans and it will cost slightly differently, but that's where they're putting your subsidy. And the slide I went by is in addition to having discounts on these premium tax credits, so you're in addition to having premiums that are reduced each month, those who are between 100 and 250% of the federal poverty level will also have an opportunity to get a cost sharing reduction. You have to be purchasing and enrolled in a marketplace silver level plan. You have to be receiving the advanced premium tax credit. And additionally, if you're between that 100 and 250% of the federal poverty level, you can get this cost sharing reduction that applies to your deductibles, your co-insurance, your co-payments, and can be applied at providers' offices and pharmacies. So you're getting some additional benefits, again, as you utilize the system. So we'll back out of that and say, okay, so what happens with these co-ops? Why were we formed? What's going on with these additional insurers that are popping up in all these states? Sure.
I just have a question before you go on. How can we determine household income? Are we looking at our income tax for 2013?
Yes.
So if we're applying in October, we haven't even...
It's a really good question. So you're applying in October, and actually what you're going to do is attest to what you expect to earn next year. So when you're on there, and we've been talking to people who are seasonal, the lobstermen, they're not sure what kind of catch it's going to be, right, next year. So what people are doing is they're attesting. Now, as you go through that process, they're going to actually have the ability online to check against some data hubs. So they're going to check against last year. If you made $50,000 last year and you're putting in that you plan to make 25 this year, there may be additional questions that come your way, or they hold up until they can tell you exactly what your subsidy will be until they get some additional questions. But it's what you attest to for next year. However, the reason that people are moving, and it's a great question, the reason people are moving to the language of premium tax credits as opposed to subsidies, subsidy somehow implies you can put it in your pocket and it's yours, right? In this case, at the end of the year, there's a reconciliation. So if you say, I'm going to earn $22,000 this year, and you have a really good year, and you end up earning $44,000, you're going to want to go back in and make sure you make the corrections. Otherwise, it's going to be a terrible April. It's going to be a terrible April that following year, so that you will end up owing money back. And this is the way that they have set up. The reason that they're allowing people, you don't have to take the full tax credit. So say you're eligible for $200 a month in a tax credit, right? The premium tax credit. And you say, this makes me nervous. I like to be conservative. I'd rather find out in April that I'm ahead of the game instead of behind. You can only take $100 a month. But what's going to happen is when they determine what your advanced premium tax credit is, they're going to send it right to the insurer. So the advantage for that is for people who really aren't going to be able to come up with that full premium and wait for 15 months, right, to get it back on their taxes next year, have that opportunity to send the difference in the balance to the insurer. And that's what they're trying to do, to make it affordable for people along the way. Because certainly, again, if you're going to have a mandate where you're having people have the responsibility of health insurance, you want to make the opportunities there to make it work for people. So does that answer your question? Okay. So the creation of these consumer-operated and oriented plans,